A brand died. Customers who paid in full never received their motorcycles. A CEO was investigated for fraud. The factory closed. The workers went home. And one of the most storied names in the history of motorcycling was declared finished. Then something unexpected happened. Something that nobody in the industry predicted. Something that the Japanese manufacturers, the German manufacturers, and every industry analyst with a confident opinion completely failed to anticipate. Norton came back. Whether it came back better is the question this video answers. And the answer is considerably more interesting than a simple yes or no. Chapter 1. The Fall of a Legend. To understand what Norton's collapse meant, you need to understand what Norton was. Not the company that failed in 2020. The company that existed for the century before that. Norton Motorcycles was founded in Birmingham, England in 1898 by James Lansdowne Norton, a man who began by selling chains and fittings to other bicycle manufacturers before building complete machines under his own name. The first Norton engine motorcycle was produced in 1902. By the 1920s, Norton had established itself as the dominant force in motorcycle racing, winning at the Isle of Man TT with a consistency that defined the event's entire early history. The Manx Norton became synonymous with the phrase racing motorcycle in the minds of an entire generation of British riders who grew up believing that Birmingham built the finest machines on earth. The featherbed frame, developed by Rex McCandless and adopted by Norton in 1951, was a genuine engineering revolution. Every serious motorcyclist of the era understood that the featherbed changed what was possible in motorcycle chassis design. It handled with a precision and stability that contemporary machines from other manufacturers could not approach. Norton built on that reputation across the 1950s and early 60s with machines that won races, set records, and occupied the aspirational position in every serious rider's imagination. Then the same story that destroyed every British motorcycle manufacturer played out with depressing predictability. Post-war economic pressure, management failures, industrial disputes, the arrival of Japanese motorcycles in the 1960s that were cheaper, more reliable, and technically advancing at a pace British industry could not match. Norton merged with AJS and Matchless to form Associated Motorcycles. That company failed. Norton then merged with Triumph and BSA to form Norton Villiers Triumph. That company also failed. The Commando, Norton's final great production motorcycle from the original era, sold its last example in 1977. The most consequential name in British motorcycle racing history was effectively finished before the decade was out. The resurrection attempts that followed over the subsequent 4 decades are a catalog of ambitious announcements followed by disappointing outcomes. Various ownership groups revived the Norton name, produced small numbers of expensive machines, attracted significant press attention, and then quietly faded when the financial reality of boutique motorcycle manufacturing revealed itself. The Commando 950, launched in 2008, generated genuine excitement. The V4 CR and V4 RR superbikes, announced by Stuart Garner's ownership group between 2013 and 2020, generated more excitement. And then came the part that permanently damaged the brand's credibility with a generation of loyal, emotionally invested customers. Stuart Garner's Norton motorcycles collected deposits and full payments from customers who ordered the V4 models. These were not casual inquiries. These were committed purchases from riders who genuinely believed they were going to receive a world-class British superbike. They waited. The motorcycles did not arrive. Communication from the company became sporadic and then absent. In February 2020, Norton Motorcycles entered administration. The official investigation that followed revealed deeply troubling findings about how pension funds had been managed and how customer deposits had been handled. The human dimension of this story is not abstract. There are real riders who paid real money for motorcycles they never received. Some had saved for years. Some had told friends and family they were finally buying the dream machine. The betrayal was not merely financial, it was personal, because buying a Norton was never purely a financial decision. It was an act of faith in a brand that represented something specific and irreplaceable about British motorcycling culture. That faith was exploited. The damage to Norton's reputation among the older, wealthier, most emotionally invested segment of the potential buying market was severe and entirely deserved by the management responsible. That is the weight that the new owners of Norton Motorcycles inherited when they acquired the brand in April 2020. They did not buy a clean slate. They bought a brand carrying genuine grief and genuine anger from real people who have been genuinely wrong. What they did with that inheritance is either the most impressive brand rehabilitation in recent motorcycling history, or an expensive lesson in the limits of what money can repair. The story of who bought Norton and why is stranger and more interesting than most people realize. Chapter 2. The Unlikely Rescue. TVS Motor Company is not a name that registers for most Western motorcycle enthusiasts. That unfamiliarity is itself a revealing data point about how completely the British and American motorcycle press underestimated what was happening when TVS acquired Norton in April 2020 for approximately £16 million. TVS Motor Company is headquartered in Chennai, India. It was founded in 1978 and is currently the third largest motorcycle manufacturer in India and among the top 10 motorcycle manufacturers globally by volume. In the financial year 2023, TVS sold approximately 4 million vehicles. The company has manufacturing operations across India, Indonesia, and now the United Kingdom. Revenue exceeds $4 billion annually. This is not a hobbyist acquisition by a wealthy enthusiast who wanted a famous name in their portfolio. This is a strategically motivated purchase by a serious industrial company with the financial resources and manufacturing expertise to execute a genuine revival. The strategic logic of the TVS acquisition becomes clear when you understand TVS's position in the global market. TVS sells high-volume, value-priced motorcycles in emerging markets. That business is profitable, but it is also price-sensitive, margin-constrained, and exposed to intense competition from other Indian and Chinese manufacturers. To grow profitably in premium Western markets, TVS needed a premium Western brand with authentic heritage and genuine emotional resonance. The list of available brands with those qualities is extraordinarily short. Norton was available. Norton had 125 years of genuine racing heritage. Norton carried a name that made 50 and 60-year-old riders in Britain, America, Europe, and Australia feel something genuine and immediate. For TVS, the £16 million acquisition price was not an expense. It was an investment in a brand asset with irreplaceable authenticity that no amount of marketing budget could create from nothing. The commitment that TVS made when acquiring Norton went significantly beyond writing a check. The decision to build a purpose-built manufacturing facility in Solihull in the West Midlands of England, rather than relocating production to India, was a deliberate and expensive statement of intent. Solihull was chosen specifically because it sits in the heart of British automotive and motorcycle manufacturing heritage, close to the original Norton factories in Birmingham and within recruiting distance of the engineering talent pool that has supported British premium vehicle manufacturing for decades. The Solihull factory is not a converted warehouse. It is a designed, purpose-built facility with precision manufacturing equipment, a dedicated paint facility, and an engineering development center. The investment in the physical infrastructure alone communicates a different level of seriousness than every previous Norton revival attempt, all of which operated from facilities that told the honest story of companies working at the edge of their financial capability. The engineering team assembled at Solihull includes veterans of Triumph, Ducati, and various Formula One adjacent motorsport programs. The head of engineering credentials visible in the published appointments represent genuine premium motorcycle expertise rather than the enthusiastic amateurs that boutique revival brands sometimes attract when they cannot compete on compensation with established manufacturers. The promise that TVS and the new Norton management made publicly and repeatedly was specific. Norton would build premium British motorcycles in Britain. They would target the upper segment of the market, competing with BMW, Ducati, and Triumph in the premium mid to high displacement category. They would honor the racing heritage through a return to competition at appropriate levels. And they would build the dealer network and after-sales infrastructure that previous ownership had consistently neglected, because a premium motorcycle that customers cannot get serviced is not a premium motorcycle. It is an expensive frustration. Whether 4 years of rebuilding has produced motorcycles worthy of that promise is precisely what Chapter 3 is going to tell you. And the answer requires specific, detailed examination of each machine. Chapter 3, the 2026 models. Norton V4CR. The Norton V4CR is the cafe racer that anchors the emotional case for the revival. This is the machine that tells you immediately whether Norton understands what its heritage actually means to the people most likely to buy it. The engine is a 65-degree V4, producing 1,290 cubic centimeters of displacement and approximately 185 horsepower at 10,500 revolutions per minute with 130 Newton meters of torque. These are serious performance numbers that position the V4 CR directly against Ducati Panigale-derived street fighters and BMW M sport machines. Weight is 467 pounds wet, which is competitive for the class. Seat height is 820 millimeters, approximately 32.3 inches. UK pricing sits at approximately £28,000, which translates to approximately $35,000 at current exchange rates. The riding position on the V4 CR is a genuine cafe racer commitment. The clip-on handlebars and rear-set foot pegs place the rider in a forward lean that is engaging on short-spirited rides and demanding on longer ones. This is not a machine designed for comfortable all-day touring. It is designed to look extraordinary standing still, sound spectacular moving, and deliver a concentrated, intense riding experience to riders who want exactly that and are prepared for the physical commitment it requires. Technology features include cornering ABS, multiple riding modes, traction control, and a fully adjustable Öhlins suspension package that represents appropriate specification at this price point. The Brembo braking system is class-correct and genuinely effective. The instrument package is clean and legible without being overwhelming. This motorcycle is designed for experienced, performance-oriented riders over 40 who want a premium British sport machine with genuine racing DNA and visual identity that nothing Japanese or German can quite replicate at any price. The one honest weakness is servicing accessibility. The V4 CR requires specialist knowledge that independent mechanics are not yet familiar with, and Norton's dealer network remains significantly smaller than competitors at this price point. If the nearest Norton dealer is 2 hours away, ownership becomes complicated fast. Norton V4RR. The V4R SAR is the track-focused sibling of the V4 CR and the machine that makes the performance claim most explicitly. The engine specification shares the V4 CR's architecture, but is tuned for higher output, delivering approximately 215 horsepower in race specification with comprehensive electronics including cornering ABS, launch control, multiple power maps, and wheelie control. Weight drops to 425 pounds dry in the lightest specification, which is a genuinely competitive figure for a 1,290 cubic centimeter superbike. Seat height is 830 millimeters, approximately 32.7 inches. UK pricing starts at approximately £33,000, approximately $41,000. The V4RR is designed for serious track riders and collectors who want a British superbike that competes with the absolute finest machines in the open class. The riding position is uncompromisingly race-oriented. The suspension is fully adjustable, Öhlins front and rear. The Brembo monoblock calipers are track specification hardware. Who is this for? The rider who takes track days seriously has the physical fitness and technical skill to extract what the machine offers, and for whom owning a British-built superbike with genuine racing heritage carries emotional weight that the comparable Ducati or BMW cannot provide despite equivalent or superior specification. The one honest weakness is that at $41,000, the V4RR competes with machines from manufacturers whose dealer networks, resale value protection, and long-term parts availability are substantially more established. You are paying a significant premium for the British narrative. Be clear with yourself about whether that narrative is worth it to you specifically. Norton Commando 125 and anniversary. This is the machine with the most emotional charge in the entire lineup and the one most likely to create complicated feelings in older riders who remember the original. The name alone requires careful handling because the Commando was the last great Norton of the original era, and attaching that name to a new machine invites comparison that the new machine must deserve. The Commando Anniversary Edition is powered by a parallel twin displacing 961 cubic centimeters and producing approximately 80 horsepower with 80 Newton meters of torque. Weight is 480 pounds wet. Seat height is 803 millimeters, approximately 31.6 inches. Pricing sits at approximately £21,000, approximately $26,000. The riding position on the Commando is significantly more comfortable and accessible than the V4 machines. Upright, ergonomics with moderately positioned foot pegs deliver a natural, relaxed riding position suitable for sustained touring at a manageable pace. This is the Norton for riders who want classic British roadster character rather than track day performance. Technology features include ride-by-wire throttle, multiple riding modes, cornering ABS, and a clean TFT instrument package that delivers modern functionality without overwhelming the classic aesthetic. The parallel twin produces character rather than outright power, which is precisely correct for the machine's positioning. This motorcycle is designed for riders in their 50s and 60s who grew up knowing the Commando name, who want a premium British roadster with genuine craftsmanship and classic visual identity, and who are prepared to pay a premium for something that feels different from what BMW, Triumph, and the Japanese manufacturers offer in the same format. The one honest weakness is that 80 horsepower at $26,000 faces serious scrutiny when Triumph's Bonneville range offers comparable character with established reliability and a significantly larger dealer network at considerably lower prices. The Norton Premium is real, and it requires justification. Norton Atlas Ranger. The Atlas Ranger is Norton's entry into the adventure touring category and the machine that expands the brand's appeal beyond the core enthusiast audience that the V4 and Commando naturally attract. The engine is a parallel twin, displacing 650 cubic centimeters and producing approximately 55 horsepower with 60 newton meters of torque. Weight is 452 pounds wet. Seat height is 835 millimeters, approximately 32.9 inches. Pricing is approximately £9,500, approximately $12,000, making it the most accessible Norton in the current lineup. The riding position is upright adventure style with sensible bar height and naturally positioned foot pegs that deliver genuine all-day comfort on mixed surfaces. The long travel suspension is appropriately specified for light adventure use. The parallel twin produces accessible, progressive power that suits both newer and returning riders without demanding expertise. Technology features include ABS, traction control, and multiple riding modes at a specification level appropriate for the price point. It is not as electronically sophisticated as premium adventure machines at higher price points. It is correctly specified for what it is. This motorcycle is designed for adventure-curious riders who want British heritage in an accessible, manageable format, who are not ready for the physical and financial commitment of the V4 machines, and who want something that stands apart from the dominant Japanese and European options in the $12,000 adventure category. The one honest weakness is weight relative to competitors. At 205 kilograms, the Atlas Ranger is heavier than the Royal Enfield Himalayan and several other capable alternatives at the same price, which matters significantly for riders who plan genuine off-road use. Now, can these motorcycles win against the machines that have owned their segments for decades? 2 matchups, 0 diplomatic softening. Chapter 4, Head-to-Head versus Japan. Matchup 1, Norton V4CR versus Honda CBR 1000R Fireblade SP. This matchup represents the clearest test of whether Norton's performance claim is commercially serious or merely emotionally compelling. On price, the Norton V4CR at approximately $35,000 meets the Fireblade SP at approximately $32,000. The Norton is marginally more expensive for nominally similar peak specification. Neither machine is designed for budget-conscious buyers. Both are premium performance purchases where the buyer's emotional relationship with the brand is a meaningful component of the purchase decision. On performance specifications, the machines are closely matched in headline numbers. The Fireblade SP's 1,000 cubic centimeter inline 4 produces approximately 215 horsepower in a package weighing approximately 201 kilograms. The V4CR's 1,290 cubic centimeter V4 produces approximately 185 horsepower in a package of 212 kilograms. The Fireblade wins on power to weight. The V4CR offers more torque from its larger displacement. On a racetrack, the Fireblade's advantage is measurable. On public roads, neither advantage is accessible at legal speeds. On reliability reputation, the Honda wins decisively, and it is not close. Honda's CBR range has decades of verified global reliability data accumulated across hundreds of thousands of ownership years. Norton's new V4 platform has been in production for approximately 4 years. The early production examples generated owner feedback that included reliability concerns that Norton has reportedly addressed in subsequent builds. The honest reality is that 4 years of production data cannot compete with 40 years of Honda engineering refinement. A buyer who prioritizes proven reliability over emotional narrative should buy the Honda without hesitation. On dealer network, the gap is significant. Honda's dealer infrastructure in Britain, America, Europe, and globally represents decades of investment. That means a Honda owner in virtually any city in any developed market can access authorized servicing within a manageable distance. Norton's dealer network in 2026 is growing but remains concentrated in Britain with significantly thinner coverage elsewhere. For a motorcycle at this price point, servicing accessibility is not a minor consideration. It is a fundamental ownership quality issue. On resale value, the Honda maintains stronger residual values as a percentage of new price in established markets. Norton's resale value trajectory remains genuinely uncertain because the brand's history of collapses creates rational anxiety about long-term parts availability and brand continuity that no amount of optimistic messaging from the current management can fully resolve. The TVS acquisition provides meaningful reassurance. It is not complete reassurance. Norton wins this matchup on emotional authenticity, visual identity, sound character, and the specific pleasure of owning something rare that carries a century of British racing heritage. These are not trivial advantages to the buyers this machine targets. They are the primary purchase motivation. Honda wins on everything else. Be clear about which priorities matter most to you before writing the check. Matchup 2. Norton Atlas Ranger versus Honda CB500X. This matchup tests whether Norton's entry-level offering provides sufficient value at its premium over accessible Japanese alternatives. The Norton Atlas Ranger at approximately $12,000 meets the Honda CB500X at approximately $7,400. The price difference of approximately $4,600 is the entire conversation in this matchup. That gap is not small relative to the absolute prices involved. On performance, the Atlas Ranger's 55 horsepower from 650 cubic centimeters compares to the CB500X's approximately 47 horsepower from 471 cubic centimeters. The Norton has a meaningful performance advantage that makes a genuine difference on highway riding and in spirited mixed surface use. The question is whether that performance difference justifies $4,600 of additional expenditure. On reliability, the Honda wins again with the same decisive margin as the V4 CR matchup. The CB500X is one of the most thoroughly proven lightweight adventure platforms in production. Its reliability record across global markets over multiple generations is exemplary. The Atlas Ranger has a shorter production history and less global owner data. A rational, reliability-focused buyer chooses Honda. On dealer network, Honda's advantage is proportionally even larger in this matchup because buyers spending $12,000 are more likely to be newer or returning riders for whom accessible, familiar servicing is a more significant purchase consideration than it is for experienced riders comfortable navigating specialist dealer networks. Norton wins on visual character, British build provenance, and the emotional satisfaction of owning something that the CB500X owner at the traffic lights will never have. At $12,000 for an adventure machine with genuine heritage appeal, the Atlas Ranger offers something the Honda simply cannot provide, regardless of how reliable or how sensible it is. For buyers to whom that matters, the $4,600 premium is a reasonable price for something genuinely different. Chapter 5. Verdict: is Norton worth it? The rational case for buying a Norton in 2026 is imperfect and requires honest acknowledgement of its limitations before it can be made convincingly. Norton's dealer network is smaller than every major competitor. Norton's long-term reliability data is thinner than every major competitor. Norton's resale value trajectory carries more uncertainty than every major competitor. And Norton's pricing demands a premium that the objective specification comparison does not always fully justify against Honda, Ducati, BMW, and Triumph alternatives at similar price points. Every one of these statements is true. Every one of them would cause a strictly rational buyer to choose differently. The rational case for buying a Norton anyway rests on a different foundation. TVS Motor Company is a $4 billion revenue business that has made a strategic commitment to Norton's success with the financial resources to sustain that commitment through difficult early years. The Solihull factory is real, operational, and producing motorcycles with build quality that independent reviewers have described as genuinely impressive. The engineering team is credentialed and capable, and the TVS parent group's track record of patient, long-term brand investment in its Indian operations suggests that this is not an acquisition that will be abandoned when the first difficult quarter arrives. This is categorically different from every previous Norton revival, and it is important that the distinction is understood rather than dismissed by buyers who remember the previous disappointments. The rider who should seriously consider a Norton is specific. They are experienced. They have owned multiple motorcycles and know what quality feels like. They have sufficient financial stability that the premium pricing does not create ownership anxiety. And they understand that buying a brand in revival carries inherent risk, and they have made peace with that reality. They have a meaningful, emotional connection to British motorcycling heritage, either through personal memory of Nortons from the original era or through the cultural transmission of that history from parents or older riders who shaped their motorcycling identity. And critically, the nearest Norton dealer is within a reasonable distance for their ownership geography. The rider who should stick with Japan is equally specific. They prioritize proven reliability above emotional narrative. They want comprehensive dealer coverage in their region. They are risk-averse about long-term parts availability and brand continuity. They are buying their first premium motorcycle and cannot absorb the financial or practical consequences of an early ownership complication. And they are unmoved by brand heritage in a way that makes a Honda's or Yamaha's 30 years of reliability data more compelling than a Norton's 125 years of racing history. Both positions are completely defensible, and neither is wrong. They are answers to different questions about what motorcycling means to the individual making the purchase decision. The emotional argument for buying a Norton is the one that cannot be quantified or dismissed with specification comparisons. When you start a Norton V4 CR, you are starting a motorcycle built in Birmingham with knowledge inherited from engineers who built machines that won at the ISIL of man. When you ride a Norton Commando, you are riding a machine whose name carries emotional weight accumulated across 70 years of British motorcycling culture. When you park a Norton outside a cafe and a 60-year-old rider walks over and says quietly that their father had one, you are participating in a continuity of experience that no Honda, no Yamaha, and no Kawasaki can offer at any price, because that specific emotional inheritance cannot be manufactured, marketed, or purchased. It can only be earned across generations of genuine history. The most important thing Norton's return represents is not the specific performance numbers of any individual model or the precise resale value trajectory of the V4RR. What it represents is the refusal of something valuable to disappear permanently. The motorcycle industry is better with Norton in it. More interesting, more varied, more connected to the history that makes motorcycling culturally significant rather than merely commercially functional. Every brand that survives a near-death experience and returns stronger makes the entire culture more resilient against the permanent losses that would leave nothing but specification sheets where stories used to be. Norton is not yet beating Japan. Not in volume, not in reliability data, not in dealer coverage, and not in resale value protection, but it is back. It is building. It is serious in ways it has never been in any previous revival attempt. And if the next 5 years deliver on what the last 4 have promised, the question in the title of this video will have a different and more interesting answer than it does today. Some brands deserve to survive. Some stories deserve a better ending than bankruptcy and broken promises. Norton is one of them. And a $4 billion Indian industrial company betting its premium brand future on a factory in Solihull is, against all reasonable expectation, exactly the kind of unlikely ending that makes this story worth telling. Click the next video in order to continue the ride. Like this video, and don't you forget to subscribe to our channel.